Every summer in what seems like the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, there's this event that takes place called the Little League World Series. Little kids run around, hit dingers, and just have the time of their lives. And we are blessed with the opportunity to just enjoy baseball for what it should be, a kid's game. Now, there have been many famous faces to take the field in Williamsport. You got future MLB superstars like Todd Frazier and Jason Varitek. And every year, there's always one or two players that encapsulate all the stories and take the fame. But there's one team that stands above every other team that has played in the Little League World Series. A team that was so good that their opponents accused them of cheating. And who could blame them? This team possessed one of the most freakish 13-year-olds you will ever see on the planet Earth. A kid that was double the size of everyone else and would go to become the best Little League World Series player of all time. This guy's name is Luke Ramirez. But the thing is, if you've never watched the Little League World Series, you've probably never heard his name mentioned before. And so the question is, what happened to the best Little League World Series player ever? This is that story. Luke Ramirez played for Parkview Little League in 2009. This team from Chula Vista, California was legendary. They would go on to set the record for most home runs hit, most RBIs, most total bases, most hits, and highest slugging percentage as a team in any World Series ever. Honestly, Luke might not have even been the best player to play on his team. One of his teammates, Kiko Garcia, hit for a batting average of .667, hit 3 home runs, 8 RBIs, and finished with 14 total hits, which is the second most hits out of any Little League World Series player ever. In the West Regionals, which is the tournament right before the Little League World Series, Kiko went 14 of 16 and hit 12 home runs in those games. 12 out of his 14 hits were home runs. That's how good this guy was. Kiko would go on to have the most successful baseball career out of anyone on that team. In high school, he primarily played as a pitcher, and he started 13 games his senior year. And out of those 13 games, 7 of those games he went the full distance and threw a complete game. He threw 2 shutouts and compiled an ERA of 1.16. Coming out of high school, he had a fastball in the low 90s, and that was good enough for him to earn a scholarship to play for Pepperdine University as a pitcher. Now, he was never as good in college as he was in high school or in the Little League World Series, but he still put up respectable numbers, and going into his senior season, he was still being considered as someone who could possibly be drafted in the MLB draft. However, after a somewhat disappointing senior season, he ended up not being drafted and now serves as a business consultant for Deloitte. So there is a strong case to be made that Kiko might have been the best baseball player on the team. But Kiko wasn't the most athletic player on his team. That was, again, not Luke Ramirez. The most athletic player from this 2009 Parkview Little League World Series team was a kid named Bulla Graft. Why do I say this? Well, because Bulla stood at a whopping 5 foot 1 inches and amassed a total of 126 pounds. Now, he was only 12 years old, but even as a 12-year-old, that is not much. When you look at him and Luke at the same time, Luke looks big enough to be Bulla's father. But that's why it was so impressive how Bulla played in the Little League World Series. He hit 2 home runs in the US Championship game, and he was responsible for the RBI single that would knock in the go-ahead run in the Little League World Series Championship. He was fast, he was strong. Pound for pound, he might have been the best player on the field at any given moment. My favorite story about him is how in high school, this man could outrun anything. He was one of the quickest and fastest high schoolers ever. But there was one day when he was practicing on a baseball field, and there was a bee following him around, and all he did for 10 minutes was try to outrun the bee because he was deadly scared of the bee, and he just couldn't do it. And how do I know this story? Because I was on the field with him. We went to high school together. I think he could have played college ball, but his passion was with football. He was a beast at football. His senior year, he was nominated for Best Player in San Diego County. He ended up playing college football at a Division II school named William Jewell in Missouri. And yeah, I wonder what he's up to now. Maybe I should hit him up. But that leads us to Luke Ramirez. And you're probably wondering, if he's not even the best baseball player on his team, and he's not the most athletic person on his team, why is he the best Little League World Series player ever? The answer is because he's scary. Don't get me wrong, he is no scrub. As a hitter, he hit multiple home runs, and even as a pitcher, in the US Finals, he threw a complete game one-hitter. He threw a 74-mile-per-hour fastball, which, with Little League distances, translates to a 96-mile-per-hour MLB fastball. And he matched that with the 58-mile-per-hour curve. Imagine having to prepare for both of those pitches. But more than any of that, what made Luke Ramirez the best Little League World Series player ever was the fact that he stood at a whopping 6 feet tall and 212 pounds as a 13-year-old. Now, I am much older than Luke Ramirez, and never in my life have I even come close to reaching 200 pounds of mass. But this guy did it as a 13-year-old. Imagine getting to this plate and seeing this guy on the mound. Or imagine being on the mound and seeing this guy in the on-deck circle. I guarantee there is no one in Little League World Series history that players have feared more than Luke Ramirez. And he won the hearts of many, many people. When he would come up to the plate, people would be screaming, "Luke, Luke," which also coincidentally sounds a lot like boos, but I can assure you they were not booing him. He was a media darling and he won the hearts of people worldwide. But the question is, what happened to him after the Little League World Series? Well, he would play baseball in high school. However, he could never repeat what he did in the Little League World Series. He never attracted attention from major colleges and instead would go on to play briefly at Southwest Community College. I think the biggest issue he faced was, well, let's be real. A lot of his success in the Little League World Series was because he was a freak of nature. However, in high school, he only managed to be 6 feet 3 inches tall and 225 pounds, which, don't get me wrong, is still really great size. But among high schoolers, he was definitely not double the size of everyone else on the field. He could no longer be stronger and more physical than everyone else, and so he struggled. But sometimes I wonder if it was even his dream to play baseball professionally. Because in the 2009 Little League World Series, he said this:
"I want to be a sportscaster."
And that's what he went on to do. After a short stint at Southwest Community College, he would go on to graduate from Long Beach State with a major in journalism, went to freelance for the San Diego Union Tribune, and now is working as a production assistant for Fox Sports. He is no longer the beast on the diamond that we were so fortunate to witness, but I'm sure he's still the darling that the media and fans grew to love and appreciate. If there's anything to be learned from Luke Ramirez's story, it's that what we're famous for may not actually be what we're the best at. And sometimes we have to sacrifice one for the other.